SSM. Okay, bacho. So let's talk about some alcohol in today's class as well. It is absolutely haram, but it is in our syllabus, so we need to learn about this. Okay, alcohol. Let's talk about some uh, physical properties of alcohol. Physical properties of alcohol. Right. So the very first property of alcohol is that it is liquid. Liquid in state. Right? You can say that they are liquid in state. Right? This is one of the property, and that is why it can be used as a solvent. Solvent के तौर पे ये use हो सकता है, right? Then secondly, it has greater melting boiling point molecules with same molecular masses, right? जिन molecules के MR अल्कोहल जैसे होंगे उनसे कंपैरेटिवली इनका मेल्टिंग बॉइलिंग पॉइंट ज्यादा होगा। और उसकी वजह क्या होती है? उसकी वजह जो होती है आपके पास, एक तो इनके अंदर हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग होती है, राइट। दूसरा, ये इनके अंदर वैंडरवाल फोर्सेस भी होती है, और वो वैंडरवाल फोर्स कौन सी होती है बच्चों? वो होती है इंड्यूस्ड डाइपोल, राइट। सो इसकी वजह से कुछ एक्सटर्नल इंटरमोलिकुलर फोर्सेस की वजह से इनका मेल्टिंग बॉइलिंग पॉइंट थोड़ा सा इंक्रीज हो जाता है। Then you can say that they are initially soluble in water. Soluble in water होते हैं initially. Then as chain increases, solubility आपके पास क्या हो जाएगी बच्चों? Solubility हो जाएगी decrease, क्योंकि उसके अंदर आपके पास जो नॉन पोलर बिहेवियर है वो बढ़ना शुरू हो जाता है। सॉल्युबल क्यों होती है कोई भी चीज पानी के अंदर? बिकॉज वो क्या बनाते हैं? हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग करते हैं, इस वजह से वो चीज पानी में सॉल्युबल हो सकती है। तो लेट्स सी व्हाई इथेनॉल इज सॉल्युबल इन वाटर। फॉर एग्जांपल, आपके पास है ये अल्कोहल CH3 CH2OH. This is ethanol, right? So you can understand this, that oxygen has a greater power to pull the shear pair of electron towards itself. So that is why it is partial negative and this is partial positive. And for example, you are adding this molecule into the water. So we have water molecule as well. For example, you have water molecule over here. You have, for example, water molecule over here as well. Do you know that in the water molecules, we have oxygen which is partial negative and hydrogens are partial positive, same as it is. यही charge इनमें यहाँ पर भी है, and there is a attraction, right? This is hydrogen bonding. जब hydrogen positive oxygen negative की तरफ attract होगा तो इसको आप क्या कहते हैं? हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग। एंड इसके लिए आपको स्ट्रेट लाइन बनानी होती है, ठीक है ना? तो दिस इज एक्चुअली हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग. यू कैन सी दिस, a single molecule of alcohol can make two hydrogen bonds with water. So it is a very good you can say that it is a very good liquid which is soluble in water. But when the number of carbon increases, for example, if you write this molecule, this is the one of the molecule, and what is this? It is actually CH3, 1 CH2, 2 CH2, 3 CH2, 4 CH2, 5 CH2, 6 CH2, and then like this. So you can see this. Definitely here we have negative and positive, but we have a greater number of non-polar behavior over here, right? We have a greater non-polar behavior over here. So that is why this behavior is very heavier over here. ये बाकी जो आपके पास ये जो चार्जेस हैं, इन चार्जेस के ऊपर ये पूरा नॉन पोलर बिहेवियर हैवियर हो गया है, इसके ऊपर हावी हो गया है। दैट इज व्हाई इट इज, you can say that it is it is like you can say that it is partially, you can say that partially soluble in water. Okay, because the non-polar behavior is increasing. That means van der Waals forces are increasing. That is why it has higher melting point and boiling point, but it is impossible to dissolve completely this molecule into the water as it has less charges, right? तो melting boiling point तो बढ़ रहा होगा, but इसकी solubility decrease होती जाएगी क्योंकि इसके अंदर non-polar behavior बढ़ रहा है. Is that right, बच्चों? So this is the physical properties of alcohol that you need to remember. Got it, everyone?
सर वैसे जहाँ आपने लिखा हुआ है सॉल्युबल इन वाटर, तो सर चेन जब इंक्रीज होगी तो सॉल्युबिलिटी डिक्रीज होगी. चेन सर ये
बिल्कुल, उसकी
कार्बन
वजह ये
हाइड्रोजन बॉन्ड की नहीं, चेन जो है वो कार्बन हाइड्रोजन बॉन्ड की इंक्रीज जब होगी या फिर जब ये OH जब इंक्रीज होंगे.
चेन इंक्रीज तब होती है ना जब आपके पास कार्बन इंक्रीज होते हैं. जब कार्बन इंक्रीज होंगे तो हाइड्रोजन इंक्रीज होंगे. तो कार्बन और हाइड्रोजन के इंक्रीज होने से चेन बड़ी होगी ना. आप अगर हर कार्बन के साथ OH लगा लेंगे तो डेफिनेटली वो वाला अल्कोहल पानी में सॉल्युबल होगा. ठीक है ना. जितने ज्यादा OH होंगे उतना सॉल्युबल होगा पानी में. बट राइट नाउ वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द जर्नल क्राइटेरिया ऑफ अल्कोहल. सो जर्नल क्राइटेरिया में वी जस्ट हैव वन हाइड्रोक्सिल ना. और जब वन हाइड्रोक्सिल होगा तो बाकी तो चेन कार्बन वाली बढ़ती जाएगी. OH एक ही है तो सॉल्युबिलिटी इस वजह से कम हो रही है. राइट. जर्नली आपके हर कार्बन के साथ OH नहीं बढ़ रहा, लेकिन अगर आप लगाएंगे तो डेफिनेटली वो सब्सटेंस जो ट्रायोल होगा या डायोल होगा या टेट्राओल होगा, डेफिनेटली इट विल बी सॉल्युबल इन वाटर बेटर देन अ सिंगल अल्कोहल्स. राइट.
ओके सर.
सर ये
Then
हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग वाला पॉइंट एक बार रिपीट करना.
जी बिल्कुल, दोबारा देख सकते हैं आप, कोई इशू नहीं है. अल्कोहल में अगर इफ यू हैव लाइक अल्कोहल व्हिच इज हैविंग अ लेस नंबर ऑफ कार्बन्स, डेफिनेटली इट हैज वैन डर वाल फोर्सेस, राइट, बिकॉज इट हैज carbon and hydrogen over here, right? This is non-polar. This is non-polar, so it has van der Waals forces over here, but still you have oxygen and hydrogen bond over here, which is polar, and we know that oxygen is higher in electronegativity, so it is partial negative, and hydrogen is lesser in electronegativity, so it is partial positive. तो ये पार्शियल नेगेटिव और पार्शियल पॉजिटिव, पानी के पार्शियल नेगेटिव और पार्शियल पॉजिटिव के साथ क्या होंगे? अट्रैक्ट होंगे. जब यहाँ अट्रैक्शन होगी तो ये हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग होगी. हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग क्या होती है? हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग हाइड्रोजन की बॉन्डिंग होती है ऑक्सीजन के साथ. हाइड्रोजन की बॉन्डिंग होती है आपके पास नाइट्रोजन के साथ. हाइड्रोजन की बॉन्डिंग होती है फ्लोरीन के साथ. तो ये तीन बॉन्डिंग जो है आपके पास हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग होती है. हाइड्रोजन इन ऑल द केसेस पार्शियल पॉजिटिव होता है एंड दीज ऑल आर पार्शियल नेगेटिव. तो यहाँ पर आपके पास क्या होती है? हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग हो सकती है इन तीन एलिमेंट्स के साथ हाइड्रोजन. राइट.
ठीक है सर.
right now we have oxygen, तो यहाँ पर हाइड्रोजन बॉन्डिंग हो गई है. So let's talk about something chemical properties, right? We did oxidation and reduction in the last class, but right now we are talking about some other chemical properties of alcohols, right? Chemical properties. First of all, the first chemical property of alcohol is combustion that we are going to do in our class right now. Combustion, it is, we know that what is combustion. Combustion is when you have something and you are burning in the presence of oxygen, right? And I have told you multiple times, whenever you burn any substance, whatever you are going to burn, the elements present in that substance are going to form compounds with oxygen, right? So we have carbon and hydrogen over here, and oxygen is already present over there. We are talking about the compounds of oxygen, so definitely oxygen will be there. So other than oxygen, we have carbon and hydrogen. So what is the stable compound of oxygen with oxygen? What is the stable compound of carbon with oxygen? Is carbon dioxide, and the stable compound of hydrogen with oxygen is water. Right. Now we can write balancing over here. If you do balancing, you can see this. First of all, we need to balance carbon. We already have balanced carbon over here on both sides. Then we have 3 plus 1, 4 hydrogens. So I can write 2 over here. So it is 2 to the 4, right? Now the only one element which is remain, so that is oxygen. 2 ones are 2, and we have 2 oxygen. So it is 2 plus 2. We have 4 oxygens over here, right? And over here we have 1 oxygen over here. Okay? और बचे कितने? 3. We need to balance 3. So we can write 3 over 2 over here, right? It will be 4. If you want to remove this fraction, so you can multiply the whole equation with 2. So it will be 2 CH3OH plus यहाँ जब 2 आएगा तो ये 2 से 2 डिडक्ट हो जाएगा, कट जाएगा, तो ये 3O2 हो जाएगा, and it will be 2 carbon dioxide and 2 to the 4 water molecules, right? Otherwise, you can even use 1.5 oxygen as well if you are doing to talk about like if you're doing calculations. No? So you can use unitary method over here, right? Then, for example, if you have two carbon alcohol, C2H5OH, when you burn this in the presence of oxygen, you will have what? Again, the stable compound of carbon with oxygen and a stable compound of hydrogen with oxygen, right? We have two carbons, right? Two over here. We have six hydrogens, right? Three over here, three to the six. Now just look at over here, two to the four, three ones are three. We have seven oxygens. One oxygen already over here. बचे कितने? Six. So it is 3 to the 6. Right, बच्चों? Is that clear or not?
Yes, sir.
One more thing you can add over here is incomplete combustion. So incomplete combustion is one of the type of combustion in which you have a limited amount of oxygen, and when you only have a limited amount of oxygens, definitely the complete oxygen is not provided over there. So the amount of oxygen for carbon will be reduced, right? So in place of carbon dioxide, you will have a carbon monoxide product in the final product. So it will be, for example, methanol is going to be combust in closed area or in the limited oxygen. It will form carbon monoxide instead of carbon dioxide plus water. So you can see this carbon already balanced. Hydrogen हो गया 4, oxygen हो गया 2 plus 1 3, and it is balanced, right? Right, बच्चों?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now let's talk about external things that can be the part of the exam. Many times I saw in the different questions of combustion, you will talk about carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. So first of all, you need to remember this, the order. If you talk about order, so carbon dioxide is orderless. Carbon monoxide is also orderless. So if you talk about color, so both are colorless as well. Carbon dioxide is colorless and carbon monoxide is also colorless, right? If you talk about nature, so the nature of carbon dioxide is acidic and the nature of carbon monoxide is neutral, right? And then if you talk about sources, how can we get these gases in our atmosphere? So definitely carbon dioxide can respiration. Carbon dioxide can be from fermentation. So these are the methods, or you can say that the processes by which we will have carbon dioxide in our atmosphere, and the only source of carbon monoxide is incomplete combustion, right? Then we have some problems as well, and the problems associated with these gases are like carbon dioxide is actually greenhouse gas, causes global warming. It is greenhouse gas causing global warming. Global warming, we know that temperature of the earth is going to be increased, right? When the temperature is increasing, the glaciers are melting and the sea level increasing and the flooding occurs, right? So this is the whole global warming that is caused by the greenhouse gases, and they accumulate around the earth and just they absorb the UV lights of sun and then they heat up the world extraordinary, right? And what is the problem with carbon monoxide? The carbon monoxide is actually very simple. It directly kills you, right? Or you can simple write suffocations. If you are a bio student, so you know it betterly that the carbon monoxide will add in your hemoglobin and it will form carboxyhemoglobin and it will stop the supply of oxygen in your body, and then you are going to be killed smoothly, right? Then what are the methods to reduce carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide? How can you reduce, or how can we reduce the carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide from the atmosphere? So for this, you can use plantation, you can add or you can grow plants, and then we can even use electric cars. Electric cars, if I'm use करेंगे तो definitely there is a less combustion and less, or even there is no combustion definitely. Or you can use fuel cell even. For carbon monoxide reduction, you can use catalytic converters in our cars, right? And if you talk about catalytic converters, so you need to keep remember what is the purpose of catalytic converter. If carbon monoxide and nitrogen monoxide are producing in our car engines, so it will convert it into carbon dioxide and nitrogen gas, right? Or even it is also one of the purpose that only carbon monoxide is producing, so it will be going to oxidize or combust it completely to produce carbon dioxide. Or if you have unburned hydrocarbons over there, C8H18 octane, so it will combust this completely and produce carbon dioxide and water molecules, right? So these are actually the purpose of catalytic converter. Then we have a test as well, and the test is for carbon dioxide only. So we know that one of the tests of carbon dioxide is pass the gas through lime water, pass the gas through lime water, and what will be the observation of this test? Lime water turns milk. Lime water turns milk. All right. We have one more test for this is we can even say that place damp blue litmus paper near the gas, and definitely the gas is acidic, so it is going to be converted into red. You can say that turns red, or you can say that blue litmus litmus turns red. Right, so these are all kind of information that are very basic and will give you marks, extra marks in your exam. अगर आपकी बच्चों वाली चीजें याद होंगी तो डेफिनेटली आपके 1 2 3 नंबर जो कहीं कहीं किसी किसी सवाल को कंप्लीट करने के लिए चाहिए होंगे वहां आप इनको हासिल कर सकते हैं. Right, we have one more thing that you need to remember is the reaction of carbon dioxide with the sodium hydroxide. This is also one of the type of question that you will find in exams, or it will form what? Sodium hydroxide. When react with carbon dioxide, it will form sodium carbonate, right? Plus water. Right? So this is also one of the type of reaction, which is acid-base reaction, simple, right? So these are the things that you need to remember. Just remember these basic things. These are very, very important, right?
सर ये फर्स्ट वाला टेस्ट ये किसके लिए कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड
दोनों ही टेस्ट कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड के, कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड का कोई टेस्ट नहीं. ठीक है बच्चों?
जी सर.
Then we talk about some other reactions. So the second reaction that we need to talk about is reaction with sodium. Reaction with sodium. Now this is very basic reaction. For example, if you have CH3 CH2OH and you are going to react it with sodium, so you will see this, that sodium is going to replace hydrogen, right? And that's all. There is no difference in the other things. So it will be like this, and the hydrogen will form what? Hydrogen gas, right? That's all. Right, and this is at room temperature. We don't need conditions for this reaction because sodium is already highly reactive. You can imagine how reactive sodium is. If you have, like, for example, if you have water, you can react it with sodium, so you will have what? NaOH, right? Plus half H2 gas, right? You can see this. Sodium even react with water as well. Okay, but you just give me a minute. Azan ho jaye, phir hum inshallah start karte hain, है ना? Kindly stop the recording. है ना? Stop the recording.